Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We are super happy of having you tonight. Uh, just a little remember, Techtonica mission is empowering women and non-binary adults in need with tech skills to enter the tech industry. And while we are waiting for the rest of the people that is coming, just a little housekeeping. Please edit your Zoom name to include your pronouns. And please keep your mute while others are talking. And just that you know, this session is being recorded and it will be on your YouTube channel. So if you feel comfortable, please turn on your cameras. It's a great opportunity to see each other, and to know each other. Um, Remember to mute yourself while people is talking. And Sarah, can you help me with the chat? I don't see the chat well. And
There is somebody, there are a few people that aren't muted. Please make sure to mute yourself if you aren't already. I think most of you are muted.
yes, and while we are waiting for the people that is coming, please share in the chat why you are interested in Techtonica, or why are you interested in software engineer. We want to see where are your interests in the tech field. And yes, to all the people that is coming in, this session is being recorded. So we ask you for please turn on your cameras if you feel comfortable. And two, please mute yourself while there is other people talking. I think we will wait until 5 for people that is coming. We have a huge attendance and we are very excited to have that attendance. So while we are waiting, please share in the chat. Why are you interested in Techtonica, and why are you interested in the tech field? I can start. I want to help people to enter the tech industry because the tech industry changed my life completely. Like it turned around my life. So I really want to help people to have the same experience. Where is what are you in why are you interested in the tech industry? Please share in the chat. We are here to see all your opinions. Uh, welcome tonight. Uh, we will wait a couple of minutes more for the people that is coming to the room, but in the meantime, we have here almost all the staff of Techtonica, so be aware that, and we have two of our graduates, and they will speak at the end of the session to answer questions, because we think is better to have a direct participant on the program tell you how the experience was for them. So if you have questions, we will have a Q&A time at the end of the session, just after the graduates participants speak. And we will wait for just one more minute. Remember to share in the chat, why are you interested in the tech industry? Um, yeah, I think we all kind of agree that the tech industry is really have the possibility of change the life of people there. So it's nice to see that a lot of us have that in common. And just 1 minute more waiting for people. We have a huge attendance for this night and we are super excited for that. As a housekeeper, just remember to mute yourself where there is other people talking, and remember to change your name. You can go to the three dots to the side of your name and change your name to include your pronouns. We are very conscious about people pronouns. And okay, it's 6:05. I think we can start. This is a little agenda for today. First, we will do a welcome to all of participants and pre-applicants here. And we will have introductions of the staff of Techtonica. Then we will do a little review of the application process and the program for our staff. Then we will have the graduates participants speaking about their experience in the program. They are graduates that just start the internship part of the program, so it will be amazing to have that review for them. And then we will have a space for the QA. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Cristina Rodriguez. If you are here, it's very probably that you already have my email, but in any case, here is my email. I'm in charge of the application process. So if you have a question, feel free to reach out to me. I promise I answer almost all my emails. So feel free to send me an email. Uh, Next, we have Michelle. Michelle is our CEO.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to see you here. Thanks for joining.
And then we have Sarah. Sarah is the project manager of the program. So, Sarah?
My name is Sarah, and I am the engineering manager of this program. So if you get in, you will be seeing my face every day as we help guide you through this process.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, your code of conduct. Techtonica is dedicated to provide a safe, inclusive, welcoming, and harassment-free space and experience for all members and guests, regardless of gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, socioeconomic status, body size, ethnicity, nationality, level of experience, age or religion, or the lack of thereof. Our code of conduct exists because of that dedication. We don't tolerate harassment in any form, and we prioritize marginalized people's safety over privileged people's comfort. Our full code of conduct can be found at techtonica.org/conduct. Just as a reminder, Techtonica helps women and non-binary adults overcome barriers to enter the tech industry. So let's talk about the application process. We will have two cohorts at the year. So we will have two application process, one for April, May, which is this one, and with one from September, October. The the application for April, May, the cohort start on July. The application for September, October, the cohort start on January. Our per require is the 113 JavaScript exercise on Free Code Camp. Those are there in our full-time program page website. And we have optional study groups to help you with that. We have study groups each Tuesday until application. So the last one is actually in April 12th, one day before the or after our deadline. And on Tuesday from 6 to 8, we will be there with volunteers helping you with the problems in the free code camp, doing pair programming, teaching you how to do code challenge. Those study groups are basically to promote that you learn JavaScript because that's the most important thing that you can learn for this program. Then we have this short interest form that I think all of you have filled out. And then we have the loan application. We ask a lot, 71 questions on the loan application. So prepare yourself to be a couple of hours on that application. When you are select for the application process, after fill out the loan application, you will be invited to two mandatory application workshops. Those will be, next slide, I will give you the dates, and those are mandatory. So if you don't show up on those, it causes you to be removed of the process. Then you will do a pair programming code challenge with me, and then you will take a code challenge to home to solve for 3 days. You will have 3 days for that. And then that is the last technical part of the process. Then you will have two behavioral interviews with a staff and a board member, and a financial conversation with me for see how much of your financial situation, how much stipend do you need, basically. Um, so that is the whole application process. What happened after when you receive the acceptance letter for us? Well, you receive an agreement and the stipend paperwork. There, we highly encourage that you have a bank account for that and that you have your papers that shows that you can work in the US ready for that. And then you will be invited to the onboarding day. On the onboarding day, which I will give you the date in a minute, you will get to know the whole core. You get to know your mentor. We will take individual and group pictures, and you will start to practice something that we call personal pitch. And then you will receive a document with all the pre-work, because between the onboarding day and the official start day of the program, you have like a month and a week, a month and 20, a month and 13 days, something like that. And on that month and days, you have a lot of pre-work to do. Uh, Please consider that it's working like between 10 and 50 hours per week doing pre-work. These are the dates that I was promised you. So the study groups are every Tuesday until April 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. For come to those, you just have to sign up on our Eventbrite. The loan application deadline is April 11th at noon. I will close the application that that Sunday at noon. The two mandatory workshops we will do as first round and second round, because we will do two dates for each one of the rounds, because we have a lot of people interested in the program for this application process. So the first round, it could be April 26th or April 28th. You just have to come to one of those, but we are giving you 2 days, so you will see which one is more convenient for you. The second round, it could be May 3rd or May 5th. Um, Please be aware that this application workshop, it will be from 6 to 9 p.m. It's 4 hours of doing code exercise with us and volunteers. Um, the pair programming with the staff, now that we are doing 2 rounds of people, will be on May 6 or May 9. It depends on what group you sign up. The code challenge, the deadline for the first group is May 9 at noon, and the deadline for the second group is May 11 at noon. The staff and board interviewers, depending on your group, it could be on May 13 or May 16. And we will send the acceptance emails on May 18 for everybody. And that's when you became just one group again. And then your onboarding day, if accepted, is June 7th. But from June 7th to July 27th, which is the first day of the program, you will have to do all the pre-work. So it's actually like 1 month and 20 days of pre-work. Basically the summer. You will spend your summer doing pre-work if accepted. Or pre-require the 130 lessons of basic JavaScript on Free Code Camp. We know that Free Code Camp changed the requirement, the UI of their platform. So you will not see your name here. It used to be the name here, but we will see your profile here. So be ready to take the whole screenshot with the check marks for all the questions solved. And we check, and if you study for 4 or 6 hours daily, it will take like a week do this pre-work. So pace yourself, make sure that you have time to do this before April 11th. And again, we have study groups. If you get stuck, we know that you are learning by yourself and that you are working alone in your house. And sometimes it's very difficult because you get stuck and you don't have anybody to ask a question, or you don't know how to Google those questions. So please come to the study groups. We will have volunteers. We will have a staff of Techtonica there to help you. Uh, these are the characteristics of the people that we are searching for, the people that we are searching in the program. And I, more than reading that this slide to you, I want to talk to you about what these things mean for us. So what resilience means for us? We know that doing this program is a huge, big, scary new thing, and it will feel overwhelmed all the time. Well, not all the time. At month 4, you will get used to it, but at the beginning, you will feel overwhelmed. And you need to be comfortable with the uncomfortable of learning so many things new. We are searching for people with autonomy. What means autonomy for us? This is a semi self-guide program. So you will receive a list of goals and a list of things to do for the day, but you need to do it by yourself. And you are only hurting yourself if you say that you are doing the job, but you are actually not doing. Um, and we are searching for people that knows that has that ethic of work by themselves. Coachability, what coachability means for us. Well, you get lot and lot of feedback for mentors, for volunteers, for your core mates, and you need to take that feedback with professionalism. You need to understand that we are in a semi-work related environment and that we need to work according to that. Positivity and adaptability for us, we are completely believers on the growth mindset, which is I know that at this moment I don't know everything, but I will get there. And I know that it's uncomfortable learning a new thing, but I will get there. I will get to manage that concept or that thing that I'm learning or that program that I'm working, and maintain this positivity about this is a working in progress is very important for us. Uh, you will get there, and we know that you will get there, but you have to believe us that you will get there. And it's easy if you believe us. Collaborations. You will work every day with randomly assigned group, and it's important that you know how to communicate. We will teach you how to talk about your code, but the communication skills, they need to be already there, because the thing new for to learn from you is how to talk about your code, but how to communicate with your group, it needs to be already there, and we are searching for that. Curiosity, the world of tech is huge and is growing every day. Everything is changing. It's impossible to to us to show you everything. So you need to have the curiosity to search. I don't know if there is something new about that, or there is some new documentation, or there is some new explication. Um, and we are searching for people that like to be that curious about the world there. And what logic means for us. We are not expecting that you know how to think logically with the computer right now. We will teach you that how to think about a problem logically and programmatically, but it helps if you are already a logical thinker and trying to understand how to do problems step by step. And that's the person that people that we are looking for. Uh, as a reminder for all of you, this full-time program is 6 months of full-time learning. We know that you don't have the ability to work while you are doing this program. It's just impossible. And that's the reason we have limited stipends, and we offer laptops for you. You don't have to have a laptop. And the next 6 months, it will be on a paid placement, or if we don't find a placement for you, we will help you in the job search with our community support, and we completely, you will not be alone in that process. And with that, I think I pass the baton to Sarah.
Hello, everybody. So I am going to sort of walk through the program a little bit, what the expectations on a day-to-day basis are, and what you can expect once you're in. So first of all, this program is all times are going to be in Pacific Standard Time because we run on Pacific time, but we do know that you are all over the US. So thank you for staying up late, those of you that are on the East Coast. This program runs from 8 to 5 a.m., 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. There will be additional meetings, mostly after that every once in a while, sometimes before, depending on where you are. So it's really important that you are available from 8 to 5 Pacific time, Monday through Friday. It really doesn't work if you're not available until 9 or if you have to leave every day at 4. So try to make that work. We are a full stack JavaScript program, which means you learn how to do all the pieces in JavaScript. How do we do that? We have events, much like this one, that can help you out. We have a lot of mentors that come in. We have volunteers that come in. We don't have lectures. This is hands-on project-based collaborative learning. So what does that mean? That means that every week you are assigned to a random group of 3 to 4 people, and they're called your pair group for the week. So you will work independently and with that group of people to come up with solutions for the problems that you're faced with, as well as working with your mentors and your volunteers. We test your knowledge every week by knowledge checks. Those are a combination of written examples. We'll say something like, here's a problem, code up an example and send it to us. And then we also have weekly verbal knowledge checks. So we call them mock interviews, where we'll ask you questions from what we've covered in the previous week, and you have to verbally answer what's going on. I want to make this very clear. We do not try to get you. We do not give you trick questions. It is not our goal to fool you. You always have all of the questions that we're going to be asked in advance. And as a group, you will have already coded up something very, very similar to the written knowledge check. So we really, really try to set you up for success, and nothing is a surprise. So if you have test anxiety or anything, don't worry. We will work with you with that. That's not how we really go about testing your knowledge. That's just to help give us a temperature gauge on where everybody's at. One of the big things that everybody works on is a final project, where you work on a full stack project. That means it's got a front end, a back end, and it connects to the internet and gets data from somewhere else. And you have a full month to work on that. A lot of boot camps will call this their capstone project, and we call it our final project. And that is fully up to you to design and implement. You can do anything that your heart desires, which is really exciting. A lot of people are really worried about interviewing and getting that first job. We practice interviews. So we spend a whole lot of time helping prepare you for the world of getting your next job after this. So for the first about 10 weeks of the program, you will have a mock interview with me every week, covering both the knowledge that you've learned in the week before and some soft skills questions. After that point, for the next about 8-9 weeks after that, we set you up with volunteers to do full hour-long mock interviews that are going to be very enigmatic of what you would find in a real interview. And then you will have interviews with our sponsor companies. So by the time you get to having those interviews with our sponsor companies, you will be pretty confident about how to do a tech interview. Because I know a lot of you have probably learned about getting in the tech industry, and there's this big, like, the technical interview. That's this big, scary mountain hurdle that we have to climb. So we really teach you how to deal with that, because I know it's big and scary. So after you do your interviews, which is about a month and a week before the end of the program, if you get placed with one of our sponsor companies, they will give you a list of things to learn for that placement. And you will spend the last month really learning whatever technology. So for instance, let's say that you get a job that they want you to learn Java. You will spend that last month learning Java with all the other people in the cohort that are also learning Java. So we kind of splinter off at that point, and everybody focuses on what they're going to need for their specific placement with our help and support. And we help find volunteers that can help you through it and all of that kind of stuff. So you won't be alone. After the learning part of this program is over, which is the first 6 months, then you're in your placement for 6 months after that. And we have weekly check-ins with everybody as a group to see how it's going, talk about things that are coming up, give each other support when something difficult happens, brainstorm how to talk to the manager and give that feedback to the team member of something that's happened. So I'm sure one of our past graduates who are currently doing them will be talking about those later. Next slide, please. So this program, as you kind of can glean from that last statement, is in multiple different parts. And the parts can kind of feel a little jarring for people, so I want to go over them a little bit. The first couple of months, we are trying to get you to have a very broad understanding of all the different pieces that go into learning how to do web development. So it's 2 months of just cramming information, but not really understanding it. And there's kind of this really difficult thing, which I'm sure you've all realized who are learning how to study, that it's so big and broad, you really can't put the full puzzle together until you have all of the pieces. So that first 2 months, I'm just basically giving you a random puzzle piece here and a random puzzle piece here. And it's really confusing, so you don't know how they go together, but you just kind of need to have them all in your hands before you can put them together. And that is where that growth mindset of, I don't know what this is yet, I'm just going to trust in the process and hope that I get it. That's where that really comes in. So after that first 8 weeks, then we spend over a month just doing practice projects. And they range from a couple of days to a week long. And that's where, just like with a puzzle, you start putting it together. And first you do the outside and then you do the mountain or whatever. By the time you get to that end of that month-ish, you will understand how all of those pieces go and you'll be able to fill them all in for yourself. So that's where in my mind, the true learning comes from, is when you're actually putting it together and getting that practice in. And you'll hear me say a lot, practice makes better. It doesn't make perfect, but every time you practice something, you get a little bit better with it. After you do that month and a half of practice, we get ready to do your final project. So the final project is 5 weeks long, including the prep week. And you will fully design what you're going to do. You're going to write out how the data is going to be. You're going to figure out how you're going to pass it all around and what it's going to do. And it's going to be awesome. And then you're sort of left to your own devices to figure out how you're going to schedule your time for that month to get all of those goals done. Again, we're checking in with you all the time. We're seeing how you're doing. We're helping push you along. But ultimately, it's up to you to sit down at your computer every day and program and get it done. After the final project, that's when we have our interviews with our sponsor companies. And then you get your placement and you're given your prep plan of all the things you need to learn in order to be prepared to start your jobs. One thing, one thing I want to tell you about that makes us different from a normal boot camp is we know that a lot of you have not worked in like a traditional office kind of setting before and don't know what to expect or how to do that, right? We fully understand that. Throughout the entire 6 months that you're here, we work a lot on the soft skills of how to communicate with coworkers, how to give and receive feedback, how to manage microaggressions, how to handle burnout, how to handle all of this stuff. So that by the time you're not going to step foot in an office, it's all virtual now. By the time that you turn on your Zoom on day 1 of your placement, you will feel confident in being in this working space. And For some people, that growth of the soft skills is even harder than the growth of all the technical stuff, because we do ask you to look inside and say, okay, this conflict happened. We're going to talk it out. We're going to figure out how to make this better. So it's really important that you're aware of, not only are we going to work on the technical stuff, there's a lot of soft skill stuff. This is also a very stressful program. You are devoting 6 months full time of your life to it. Stress comes up. We get that. So it's really important to realize that there's also a pretty big emotional aspect of doing this program. But I think a lot of people find that that is, in a lot of ways, even as valuable as all of the technical skills that they learn. Okay, next slide, please. This is just a little picture of all the things that you're going to learn. So our curriculum is open source. And so for those of you that don't know what that means, basically it means everything mostly that we do is posted up on GitHub, and you can look through the lessons and see what they're going to be like. So you could theoretically do our program on our own. You obviously get a lot more with us, like having the mentors and the volunteers and working together as a group. But it's open source on GitHub. And it's got a lot of people that have contributed their brilliant ideas to making these lessons. Over 241 people. So I think that's another really awesome thing about our program, is that means that the lessons that you get are written by different people and people who are in the industry. And so you get different voices, you get used to reading technical documentation. Again, we're trying to prepare you for when you get out there and you're working in the tech industry and you're sort of having to do it. These are the logos. For those of you who don't know, tech companies are all about the logos. So these are all of the logos of the technologies that you'll learn. And there's more than that too, but they're pretty and they're colorful, and you can stick up on LinkedIn and feel all awesome and pretty. Next slide, please. Okay, daily routine. Remember, 8 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. That's very important. Every day, 8 a.m. sharp, we start up with a stand-up meeting. And in that meeting, we go over what are we doing that day. I have a document, it's called the Day Doc. And what it has in it is a list of all of the important takeaways for the day. For the first couple, or for the first week, Christine and I will lead those meetings. After that point, we rotate through the participants, because we also want you to get used to talking in front of people and leading meetings. It's a big part of what you'll be doing when you're working in the tech industry. So every day there'll be a different day lead, and we will rotate through everybody, so get a few chances to do that. After the morning meeting, then we do a code challenge every day, followed by a code challenge review. So some of the code challenges you'll do on the own, some you'll do with your group, and then we all come back together and talk about our solutions and where we got stuck, and this cool solution that I found, and this is how I did it, and this is how I thought about it. So it's a really great time to, one, learn how to talk about code, which is really challenging and difficult, and also seeing other people's ideas and working through difficult problems. After that point, you're sort of on your own for the day until the afternoon. So pretty much from 9:30 to 3 every day, we just say, here's the stuff you have to learn. It's up to you to schedule it how you want throughout your day. During that time, you will also have check-ins with the staff. So you will have 2 meetings with me every week and 2 meetings with Christina every week. So that's on average 1 a day, a meeting with a staff member. In the afternoon at 3, we do pair programming. So what that is, we get back into our pair groups and we either give you a small program to build based off of whatever you've been learning so far that week. So that's kind of the hands-on practice with a group of people, or we will walk you through an example of doing something. So every day that happens in the afternoon, followed by our wrap-up meeting where we go through our day, talk about how it went, and go over the main takeaways for the day and make sure that everybody kind of gets what we're talking about, see if there are any holes. You will all have a mentor, a personal mentor that has volunteered to help you out. And Christina is going to talk about that, I think maybe in the next slide. Let's see. Oh, no, this is just more example of the schedule. So 8 to 8:30 is that morning stand-up. 8:30 to 9 is the code challenge I was talking about. 9 to 9:30, code challenge review as a group. 9:30 to 3, working on your own. 3 to 4, pair programming practice. And on some days, it's actually 2 to 4, depending on how complicated the pair programming is for that day. And then 4 to 5, wrap up. Next slide. Okay, now I'm going to give it to Christina.
And now I talk about mentoring. As Sarah was telling you, you will have a mentor, at least one personal mentor, and we will make sure that you have a software engineer that is currently working in the industry helping you. And through the knowledge check, we will see if you need more help, and in that case, we can assign you as a second mentor, or if we have volunteers, sometimes we are asking software engineers that want to volunteer with the program that they do basically office hours. And sometimes those office hours are in the evenings of the weekdays. And basically they will be there for 1 hour, an hour and a half if the group has questions. And we usually encourage people, like in the first month, we need to encourage people to take those office hours. After the first month, when you are doing projects, you will take the office hours without any encouragement needed. So we will make sure that you have mentors hours for solving questions, helping you to set up locally things. We are always looking for volunteers, so it's another part, important part of the program. I think this is for you, Sarah.
That's to me. Okay, a couple of things to consider. The first month of the program is a trial period, but you can get cut from the program at any time. Some of the things that determine the ability to stay in the program are how you're doing in your mock interviews. Are you retaining all the information you need? Attendance, are you showing up on time and are you present throughout the day? Professionalism, do you treat everybody as you want to be treated in a professional manner? The daily assignments, are you getting the stuff done that we're asking you to do? And collaboration, are you working with all the other people in the cohort for a successful outcome? This goes back to that traits of things that we're looking to help people grow with. So basically, if you're here, if you're trying, if you're bringing an awesome growth mindset every day, you have nothing to worry about. If you are bringing a negative attitude and you're not showing up and you're making everybody's life harder and being rude to people, that's when we'd have a conversation. To let you know, there are consequences to quitting or being cut from the program. So please make sure you read through the information on this, on the website. Basically, just read through the thing. It's all legalese. So read through it before you sign and commit. I will also say along with that, it is our goal to get everybody across the finish line. So after you get into Techtonica, we want you to stay. We are here for you. We're here to support you. I know this is big and scary to think that you can get cut at any time. We really hope that that doesn't happen. We really want to help you get through. And I will also say it never comes as a surprise if somebody does have to get cut. We build plans around it. We talk about things. We have really clear expectations for everybody. Next slide. I sort of mentioned this already. We do not have traditional lectures. If you are looking for a boot camp where someone will stand up and tell you everything that you need to learn, this is not the right boot camp for you. One thing we really strive for is to get you prepared for how it will be when you are working. And when you are working, it will be kind of up to you to learn the things that you need to learn. So what we really stress is we have a list of goals for the day, and we provide you with some learning materials. So YouTube links and articles, and we have our lectures or our articles up on GitHub that you can learn from. We also really strongly recommend that you find your own resources. You find your own articles, you find your own YouTubes, if there is a piece of that that is confusing for you. And that will really, really help you as you continue to grow in your tech career. Because of that, it is really important that you are able to motivate yourself, you're able to follow the rules, you're able to pair with other people, and you're able to do your assignments honestly and to the best of your ability without guidance. This is unlike any other educational experience that I have ever heard of or seen. We don't care about grades. There are no grades, there are no points. We really care that you are learning and that you are improving over the knowledge you had yesterday and the day before that. So people come into this often feeling like, oh, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just going to steal the code off the internet, or I'm just going to like steal somebody, like one of my participants' code, even though I don't know what's going on. We need to know that you don't know what's going on so that we can help you get there. Again, it is our goal to get you across the finish line. We need to know where you're really at. And going back to what Christina first said about being comfortable being uncomfortable, there will be a lot of times where you are very confused and you do not know what's going on. And it's important that we know when those times are so that we can help you get there. So, moral of the story, collaboration with us and with your fellow participants is key to success in this program. And we really, really try to set you up for success. And as you get into the job, I feel like we really, really set people up for success once they're working, because we designed this program around how it will be when you are working. Next slide, please. Okay, limited placements. What does that mean? We are working to find placements for you. Remember, those are 6-month paid positions with our partner companies. There is no guarantee that we will find a placement for everybody, and we will be accepting 15 to 20 people into the cohort. If you are not placed with one of our sponsor companies, we will help you find a job. Here's the important thing. The last 3 cohorts, we have gotten placements for absolutely everybody in the program. We do not have them finalized for the next cohort yet, so I can't tell you what numbers we have because it's still all up in the air. There stands a fairly good likelihood that we will have all the placements, but it's not finalized yet. If we do not have enough placement spots for everybody, we will work with you to get a job. We will help you get ready for your resumes. We will help you get ready with interviews. We will help you find jobs. So we will not leave you in the dust. We will make sure that you are on the right path to getting a job. Next slide, please. Okay. These are some of our sponsors, basically companies that have worked with us. These are some lovely pictures of some of our volunteers. We run on volunteers, this program. So we really, really appreciate them all. And you will hear us talk all the time about the mentors and the other volunteers because they're really so super awesome. So next one. Don't feel discouraged if you don't get in the first time. This is a really hard program to get into, and we want you to keep learning and apply again. Sometimes it takes people 3 times to get in. It's super competitive. We only have an 8% acceptance rate. So keep learning, keep coming back, keep trying, and we'll get you there. Next slide. Okay, Christina, this is back to you.
Sarah. Applications deadline is April 11 at noon. It's a Monday. It's Sunday, sorry. please make sure that you have the 113 exercise on FreeCodeCamp for that date. Pace yourself. And if you have any questions, please go to techtonica.org/full-time program. And there is all the information about the program. And reach out to me if you need any clarifications about what is there. Let me pause for a minute because I need to refresh the presentation because we are gonna do I'm giving away of one of our laptops in this session. We will have another one the the Latinx community on Wednesday. And we are offering an Amazon gift drawing if you submit your long form by March 31st. So if you submit the loan application by that day, you will enter the drawing for an Amazon gift card. So don't forget this date. And we are doing a laptop giveaway to folks on the Latinx community. So help us to spread the word. We will have a info session with the Latino community on Wednesday, and there we will have another laptop giveaway but for this one, the first winner is Crystal Pacheco Garcia. Yay, congratulations to her. And with this, I introduce our graduates. So our first graduate here in the meeting is Tara. Tara, do you want to tell us about your experience in the program?
Yes, absolutely. And it's my pleasure to be here and talk on behalf of Techtonica. And by the way, my name is Tara Larson. My pronouns are she, her. And I was in the cohort beginning in, let's see, when was that? July? And it has been an amazing experience. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I was a teacher for about 20 years. I taught middle school, 6th grade, multiple subjects and science to 7th and 8th graders. And I just wanted a change. I was looking to make a change. And I wanted something, I wanted to make a change in society, but work more behind the scenes. I wanted to still have a profession where I collaborated a lot. And I also didn't want to stagnate. And that's what I love about tech, is that it doesn't stagnate. You're always learning and you're always working on cutting edge technologies. So that's what attracted me to tech. Oh, and it's also a really diverse field and it has, amazing opportunities. So I applied to Techtonica twice and I got in the second time. So for those of you who apply and don't get in, don't give up. So I have so many great things to say about Techtonica. The biggest thing that stands out is the staff from the top down, they're very transparent and consistent and caring. And they truly want you to succeed, and they will use the resources that they have to get you where you need to be. And I know Sarah mentioned that, but it is true. It's absolutely true. And they have an extreme amount of connections. If you're new to the tech field, I was completely new. I had one LinkedIn connection, and now I'm like in the hundreds. So it's a great program to just gain more connections in tech. So you'll make connections. You'll have opportunities during the program to make connections and hear more about the tech field and all the opportunities that are available in the tech field. It was also mentioned that the program covers breadth and not depth, and to be okay with that. Mentorship is everything in this program. It's a cornerstone of the program, and to me, that mentorship experience was just invaluable. Let's see, what else? focus on your knowledge gaps. When you get into the program, focus on your knowledge gaps, stay focused, but also maintain a work-life balance. So that's probably the best advice that I could give everyone. That was kind of my recipe for success in this program. So now I am a software engineer, a real software engineer, working at Indeed. And my advice to you, once you get into the internship part of the program, is to advocate for yourself, ask questions, and document everything you do. Because the end goal is to get converted to a full-time position. And I think I covered everything that I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. It's so amazing always see you, your experience and having you here. And our next graduate is Natalie. Natalie, do you want to tell us a little about your experience?
Sure, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie. I am a Latina and former clinical social worker. I became interested in tech during the pandemic, and I was just doing self-study really just about 6 months before Techtonica started with like free code camp and Colt Still's web development course. So I was like, at first I was like, not really quite sure. I just thought it was really interesting. And I just became fascinated by it, going on the learning program subreddit and just kind of getting into like what this field's all about. It's really cutting edge. So I found Techtonica, and I believe it was through Twitter. And then I just kind of kept researching, and I liked what I heard, and I liked the idea of like building projects for a portfolio. That was like initially my first goal. I'm like, I want to build projects for a portfolio. And it just seemed like Techtonica, like everything was aligned with that. So I was like, why not just give it a shot? So I gave it a shot, and it worked out. And I really feel like the way I could just echo what Sarah said earlier, the way the program is set up is very, very similar to what it's like on the job. It's almost like your weekly projects ends up becoming like your weekly ticket, and it's up to you to kind of like look up the resources that you need, find the solutions, implement those solutions. So I feel like Techtonica really set me up to like do that and like be comfortable with learning and be comfortable with not knowing. That's a huge one, because there's so many details in the field that it's just going to take time. And I think one of the things I could suggest is like do your best, but also be patient with yourself, because there's so much to learn. And like the feeling that you get at the beginning of Techtonica is a similar feeling when you start your internship. Just like it's almost overwhelming with like all the tools and technologies that you need to like get up to speed with. But it ends up kind of slowly working out. So, and the growth mindset, I think that's a really important part about it. It's something I still struggle with, but it's super important. And I think that's almost like the little secret key is believing that you can do it. And so I'm at Indeed right now. So I'm a software developer intern there, and it's been really amazing. It's just like the learning will continue indefinitely. I'm with some really amazing people there from Techtonica. Tara's one of them, Elizabeth. Techtonica feels super supportive. We meet with them once a week. I'm really happy to see them here. I feel like really comforted by their presence. So I feel really supported, and I felt like all the experience I got from Techtonica actually, it really helped me. It really helped me be prepared for like what's happening now. And even though, you know, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, we can do hard things. So that's a huge takeaway. I want everyone to feel like no matter what happens, and no matter what's in front of you, no matter how complicated it is, we can do hard things, and we just need to keep at it. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. It's a pleasure to see you here and to find that you are doing great. And I think this is the moment for questions. So please raise your hand in reactions at the bottom of the Zoom screen. You will have reactions. You can raise your hand there and we can see you, or you can drop your question in the chat and we will see you and try to solve your questions. Who has a question? Questions about the application process, the deadlines. Claire, you have a question?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Claire, she, her pronouns. A quick question about the pre-work. Do you have a quick summary on what types of topics the pre-work covers, whether that's other languages like HTML or more JavaScript oriented?
Yes, great question. So we need that you have a very solid foundation on JavaScript. So the pre-work is most only JavaScript, but we will separate the topics, the big topics on JavaScript for each week. So you have a week of exercise working only on strings, 1 week of working only with arrays, 1 week of working only with objects, everything in JavaScript, because this program, we will teach you everything that you need on HTML, CSS, the front end, the back end. But if you really see what is all that, it's just JavaScript. So the thing that we really need is that you have a solid foundation on JavaScript, that you know how to work with the strings, with array, with objects, without almost think about it. And then we can teach you the rest of the technologies and the rest of things that you will do it.
And I'm going to add to that. There's also some soft skills stuff in there, like a little bit of imposter syndrome, a little bit of growth mindset stuff. You'll be setting up your GitHub. You'll be making sure we have all the information we need about you. So it's kind of 3/4 JavaScript and 1/4 clerical work and getting your computer set up and all of that sort of stuff too.
Ruth, you have a question?
Hi, I'm Ruthie. My pronouns are they and them. I've heard several people talk about work-life balance, and I'm curious for input about what that actually looks like. It sounds like the program is intense and requires so much energy and effort and time. So I'd be interested to hear what that actually means, work-life balance.
I will
Yes.
take that one because
Okay.
I'm the biggest proponent of work-life balance, and I'm the last one you'll see of the day. So basically, my goal for all of you is to be here from 8 to 5, pretty focused, taking breaks. I want you to have snacks at your desk. I want you to have a timer that tells you to get up and walk around every hour. So focus for that 8 hours. And then with everybody, I come up with what is the time you're going to turn off your computer every night? And you're going to tell me you're actually turning off your computer at that time at the night. It is also my goal that you do not work on the weekends, that you have at least one full day that your computer is put down and you are not doing anything and you are letting your brain relax. I think we all know that your brain can't learn things if it's super stressed out and you haven't slept well. So I really want you to do that. We also really encourage people to take mental health days when they're getting to the point of just feeling like, and part of what we learn about is where is the line for you where you're not burnt out yet, so that you take the break the day before that. Right? So start taking those breaks before you get past the line and you're ready to burn it all to the ground. So that's part of that soft skill stuff that we work on, is really discovering where that is for you. So yes, I'm a huge proponent of work-life balance because that's the only way that you'll make it through. Natalie, did you have a question or a comment?
Oh, Michelle just said if we could weigh in really quick. So I'll just say it's intense because there's a lot of projects and a lot of learning that needs to happen. So knowing where your line is, but I kind of try to push myself, and sometimes I'm not the best example of work-life balance, because it's like if I really need to know something, it's so like that in tech. Like you're problem solving, time is going by really fast, and all of a sudden it's like 10 o'clock. But just being cognizant of that and being aware, and then taking the break. So yeah, like you don't burn out or you don't feel like, okay, I can't do anything anymore for the next 3 days. So just being aware, but also I think being okay with like, okay, maybe I'll put in a little more here and maybe I won't a little more there, and just understanding that about yourself. Thank you.
You have a question?
Okay. Yeah, just to piggyback off what Claire said earlier, I wanted to know what the workshops would be consistent of.
Oh, the study nights workshop?
The application workshops.
Oh,
Yeah, that one. The ones where you have to do two of them.
Yes. So basically, you will have three different problems, code challenge to solve with people. You are doing pair programming, and we have a volunteer in the group. We will use the breakout rooms of Zoom, and there will be a volunteer there rating you and your communication skills. At this point, we are not rating your JavaScript skills. We focus if you need more or less knowledge of that, but the important ratings are the communication skills, because we want to make sure that you are able to work in pair programming, that you know how to communicate, that you are stuck, that you know how to communicate, that you don't understand some part of the problem and things like that. And that's it. You will be in three different groups, so we will see how you interact with different people, and we will have a rating for that.
Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome. Mia, do you have a question?
Yeah, so when you were speaking about placements with companies, are you saying that are we going to be limited to the companies that you spoke about before, or are those just the companies that you would be promoting for us to work with?
Those are a short of our partner company. We don't know yet with what companies we will place you for the next core. We're still working for those placements. But in the past, for example, the last core is working on Indeed, Sony. So those are companies that we consider partner companies because they already have software engineers from Techtonica working with them. And it's very probably that you will be on one of those companies because we have the other member of the staff that is not in this meeting is our partner company manager, and she is in charge of finding those placements and keeping the long relationship with our partners company.
I'm going to tag in on that a little bit. So Techtonica is a free program, and we're able to offer laptops and stipends because of our sponsors companies. They basically give us the money to keep this program coming. And as part of that, we feed them all of our awesome graduates because you all are so awesome and they love you so much. So yeah, so that is how that relationships comes about and why we push you to those companies. So the placements that you would have, assuming we have enough placements, part of signing the contract would be that you would take a 6-month job with one of our sponsor companies, assuming we have enough sponsors for everybody. Does that answer your question? It's kind of a cool
Yes.
business arrangement.
Yes, that answers it.
Great.
Perfect. Krishna, you have a question?
Hello, nice to meet you. Yeah, so I have a question. I know you mentioned that basically we need to have like a solid understanding of like JavaScript before we apply, and that's what's gonna make us successful in the program. And I wanted to know if there were any free courses you recommend online to take before we even apply. Like, is there anything else we can do to become like a more competitive applicant?
The free code camp exercise will give you the basics, and it will teach you the why things work this way on JavaScript. So the free code camp is our like first resource that we always recommend. And if you finish the basic, you can go to the next level and keep going there in the free code camp. And the reason that resource is good for beginners is that it has explanation on why the things work this way for JavaScript. So I encourage you that when you are solving those questions, you are taking note of the explanations of why comments work this way, or why do console logs in JavaScript works this way. And FreeCodeCamp has the explanation there. And that's the reason we recommend that resource for all our beginners.
And I'm going to butt in for a second and say that you do not have to know JavaScript before you apply. So what the application process is, those 113 JavaScript lessons, those are basic how to get started with JavaScript lessons. And that is what we expect you to know before you apply. So if you get through there and you understand everything that was in those 113 lessons, you understand what happens in the application workshops, that's the level we expect before you apply or when you're applying. If you get into the program, this is after you're accepted and you sign up, that's where the pre-work comes in. And the pre-work is when you're doing that 10 hours a week of JavaScript learning to be prepared for when you first start. So if you do not know anything right now today, that is okay. Come to the workshop tomorrow night and start working through those code challenges. We do not expect you to have a high level at the point of application, but it's at the point that you start the program, which is a full month after you get accepted, where you would have to have that little higher knowledge. And again, we give you all those resources. We help you get there. Michelle also just posted the great link in the chat, which is the how to prepare for the full-time program.
Thank you, Sarah. Taylor, you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So I actually have two questions. So my first one is when it comes to like sick days or anything like that, because I know that there is the expectation, right, for attendance and stuff like that. I just, you know what I mean? I'm just like asking just for that sense, if you're sick or like if you do need a mental health day, maybe you run into an emergency. Maybe aren't those details maybe like on the website or anything like that about, you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're missing like every single week, obviously you can't be in the, right? Obviously you can't be in the program, but I'm just curious about, obviously like we can take a mental health day if it's necessary, or the sick day, it's like, it's not going to jeopardize, you know what I mean? If it's actually needed.
Yes, definitely. And the way that it works is that the first 8 weeks are super intense because you're learning stuff every day. And if you miss one of those days, then it can be pretty hard to catch up.
Yeah.
But if it does happen, because we're all human, we have bodies, we get sick, then you would work with me and I would go through the pared down list of, okay, you are 2 days behind, this, and this are what you want you to focus on right now. And then when it comes to that month and a half of just practicing programs, then we're going to fill in all of those gaps that you missed. So I really work with everybody if they miss a few days, because we're all human. Like you said, like stuff happens. Our bodies are not infallible.
Cool. Awesome.
Yes. And just adding to that, the important thing is that you communicate those things. So as long as you are not taking decisions, are not telling us, we totally can work with you and understand your difficulties and your challenge and your special situation. Like, we all humans, and we know that we have like life keep happening, but you need to communicate that.
Sure.
And that's the most important thing.
Cool. Thank you. And okay, I have one more question. It is for Natalie. I don't mean to put you on, I totally don't mean to put you on the spot like that. Like, I don't mean to, but anybody can answer it though. Like if they see, if it applies. Do you think that as a social worker, do you believe that you are able to still also apply your perspective and your practices and everything like that within your position as a software engineer?
Absolutely. I feel like especially the soft skills aspects, that's all of social work. And just not just in Techtonica, but when you're on the job, just learning how to like foster those relationships and just bringing different perspectives to like the conversation. For me, for Indeed, it's like hiring. So I'm always thinking about like, how could this actually help, vulnerable populations, not just like the corporations that pay us. So I'm always kind of bringing that perspective of like, maybe we could try to like make this less difficult for people.
Right. Oh yeah, so, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'm going to bit on that one for a second too. We all of the staff are pretty much second career people. I used to be a musician and music teacher, and I'll let Christina talk to hers in a second. And as I have been hiring for companies, as I've moved into tech, they love the second career folks because you know how the world works, right? Like you are their target market for a lot of this stuff, and your diverse voices and backgrounds really, really, really add to the product. People that went to high school, went to college for computer science, and then jumped out into engineering don't have that, right? So companies are actually looking specifically for people who are on second and third careers because it adds just a whole lot of dynamicness to who you are. And I'll let Christina finish up.
Yes, Sarah, thank you. Yeah, I was before a journalist, and I did a boot camp, and the problem with my boot camp was it didn't have the placement, and it didn't help with that first job. So one of the reasons I'm fully committing to Techtonica is that I know for personal experience that finding that first job in the tech industry is super complicated. Because you don't have like the experience that they are already asking you, and you don't have the connections that they are already asking you. And I have to confess that I paid a huge amount of money and they didn't help me. And Techtonica has the mission of help people to have that first experience and found that first placement in the tech industry.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for the questions, y'all. And thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome. Alice, you have a question too?
Yes, I have a question for Tara and Natalie. I just kind of wanted to know, what is the day in the life of like a software engineer? Like we talked about like Techtonica helping you get into the industry. Like what was like your biggest challenge just trying to transition, and how did you overcome it? That's it.
I would say that, well, Natalie mentioned that Techtonica does a great job setting you up. The daily schedule kind of mimics what a software engineer does. So I'll just give you some examples. I come in on Monday, I check my email, then I look and see what tickets I have. A ticket is like a job to complete, it's not like a coding challenge to complete, and it could be a one-day ticket or a week or several weeks. So it just depends on what the ticket's all about. Because I'm really new, I have a great team, and the team has I have a mentor assigned to me. The mentor's also on the team. He's a software engineer on the team, and I have access to him 3 times a week via Zoom, and I have unlimited access to Slack. I can Slack him anytime and any question. And I have weekly one-on-ones with my manager, and she checks in on me. And I just work my way through the tickets, and I break them down into really small pieces because I am so new, and I complete them. And I ask a lot of questions along the way, and I document everything I do, every little, even if it's, a meet and greet that I have with another intern, I document that. And I just think that's really important for the company to see that I'm interested and I want to be converted. And yeah, then that just continues on a weekly basis. Now, Indeed has a different experience because they have a program set up for interns, and it's awesome. There's a program manager. You can meet with her anytime you want. She's really accessible. We also have weekly intern lunches. So there's a great community of interns at Indeed. And it's just been a really great experience to transition from Techtonica, who's still in, communication with us on a weekly basis, which is awesome. We still have our Techtonica mentor, which is amazing. And then we have our Indeed mentor. And then the program will support you with even more people to connect with if you still need additional support. So I hope I covered everything. Natalie, you want to add on to that?
You said that so well. So yeah, and I would just like to say too that I've even watched my mentor. She's amazing. She's a software engineer level 2, do the exact same things I do. Like there's, some code that we need to write. And she's like, I actually don't really know the specifics about creating the sanitation in Spring Boot. So we looked up the documentation, and she does exactly what I do and exactly what you do. And then she gets the information and she's like, okay, maybe we could try to make it work like this. And then we test it, and then we just like play around with it. And it's in Techtonica, the way they set up the projects, you're doing the exact same thing. So it's a very similar type of schedule. Like Tara was saying, start with the morning stand up. This is what I'm working on today. This is like where I'm at with my ticket. This is my progress. And then you're just like given a huge chunk of time to actually do your work, and then engage in meetings. That's a whole other thing. There's a lot of meetings, but they're really good meetings. Like all morning was meetings for me. So Techtonica gives you all those meetings also. So they really prime you for that experience. But besides the meetings and then working and coding on your own time and then reaching out to people and maybe doing some events, I would say that's pretty much what my day looks like.
I will
Thank you for
also
that.
say, yes, I'm also going to say that, our first team stand up, I'm brand new. I just went on in there in the Zoom room and said my piece, because Techtonica prepared me for that, because we had retros every Friday. I'm like, I know what a retro is. I'm going to go in there and just tell them how I feel and what I'm working on. And it was no problem because we were trained for that.
Yes, thank you, Tara. Yes, we will try to mimic all the meetings that you will have in the tech industry to prepare yourself to. Our goal is that when you are in a situation, you can say to yourself, I already see how this works. So we don't call it all hands, but you will be in all hands in the Techtonica. So you will see how that dynamic it is. You will see how a retro is. You will see how a stand-up, a wrap-up, all that fancy terminology for the tech industry until you feel comfortable. Ruth, you have another question?
Yeah, thanks. So I'm very curious. I've heard Tara applied twice and you said there's an 8% acceptance rate. So I'm wondering, is there a feedback process for applicants that are not allowed into the program to encourage, feedback to help increase the odds of like better chances the next time they apply?
Yes, Ruth, great questions. Yes, if you are not accepted because a technical part of the process, you will receive feedback on what you need to work better. And we have a program with the City College of Berkeley for people that just need to learn a little more of JavaScript. They can go to the City College classes and go back and skip the application process, go directly to the code challenge part of the process. So basically they skip the 2 mandatory workshops if you finish the JavaScript course on the City College. Unfortunately, if you are cut off in the behavioral interviews, I don't have access to the board members, so I will not have a more specific feedback for you in those cases. But in the technical, definitely, we will tell you in what areas you can focus more to keep trying. That's all your question, Ruth? Perfect. Yolisma, I don't want to.
You pronounced it right. Yay!
Yay.
Hi, Christina. Thank you so much. I just want to say it is nice to meet you, and I'm so glad to be in a room full of amazing people. I have a question. At one point, was a program ever done in person, or is Techtonica ever planning on stop remote and come for the program to be in person instead?
Yes, Techtonica used to be in person on San Francisco, and it used to be that we are able only to help people in the Bay Area. But with the pandemic, we moved to fully remote, and we realized that in that we can help actually more people, because as long as you feel comfortable working in Pacific time, it really don't matter. And so far, our partners companies are accepting remote placement because
Mhm.
they are in the policy of, yeah, it doesn't matter. So
Okay.
that actually was a good, as it's really hard to say that the pandemic gave us a good thing, but that was
Yeah.
kind of the good thing after the pandemic. And yeah, we are completely fully remote now.
That
Okay.
brings
Yeah.
up a really good point. Sorry, I'm going to come back to you in a second, but before I forget, one of the conditions is that should you get a job that wants you to be in the Bay Area, you would have to move there. However, you have a lot of say over where you get placed with. We just don't put people willy-nilly. So when it comes time for the interview process, you would say, no, I'm not willing to relocate
Right.
for that. And that being said, that one partner company right now is like, we only want people there every 6 weeks. So like one day every 6 weeks, which is feasible if you live somewhere else. So,
Right.
okay, finish your question. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, that was my question only. I just wanted to make sure if Techtonica is planning on having the program in person anytime soon, or if it's going to be staying remote. You know, just
Yep.
you know, to be aware of future, you know,
Yeah.
plans or, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're fully committed to remote now. So yes, it will continue to be remote.
That's awesome because then, like you said, it makes it really easy for everyone, and really appreciate that this is remote.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you both.
Michelle, do you have a question?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Hi. So my question is, will most of the placement companies have an internship program? Or is it just Indeed that has a specific internship program?
Great question. Most of our partner companies, because we ask them that they're be aware that they are receiving a entry level software engineer and that they need mentorship and that they are learning, and yes, we mostly all of partners companies have an inter program. It's not all like Indeed. Indeed is a huge company. Sometimes you work placement in a startup, so the dynamics there are different, but you will have a mentor at least, and onboarding and some kind of documentation for onboarding.
And we've been around a while now, and companies love our graduates and they keep coming back and asking for more. So they really have an understanding of the level that you're coming in at, what you know. So there is a lot of support to help get you from day one of your placement to transferring into a full-time employee, because that's their ultimate goal too, right? They want you to become a full-time employee as well. There's a lot of support within the companies for that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, I don't know if anyone else has a question. As a reminder, this session is being recorded and all the information will be on our YouTube channel. So if you miss some of the information that we gave at the beginning of the session, feel free to see the whole record session. And if you have questions, please reach out to me. I'm very open to all the questions about the application process and the program. Saying that, I think it's time for our screenshot. So if you feel comfortable, please turn on your cameras. We want to see your face. We want to celebrate that we are all here because we love technology and we want to be part of this group. Okay, ready? On my count, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I took several. One of them will be. And yeah, this is all for the info session. I will be here answering questions for the study group. Remember that the study group is tomorrow from 6 to 8 We will be there to help you with the free code camp exercise. There will be volunteers and staff members and people trying to help you.
And remember, if you know nothing yet, if you haven't even started those code challenges, come on by tomorrow. There will be people there to help you get on the journey with it. So it's okay if you don't feel like you know anything yet. That's what we're there for.
And thank you so much to our graduates, Tara and Natalie, for being here and helping us with this session. It is amazing to see you.